You might be wondering why they suddenly vanished, why the ones you trusted, leaned on, gave everything to, just faded away without warning. But let me tell you, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't some random twist of fate. No, it was intentional. God removed them because they were using you, and He knew you'd never see it on your own. He saw the manipulation, the selfishness, the way they took advantage of your kindness, your loyalty, your willingness to give without expecting anything in return. And so He did for you what you couldn't do for yourself. You see, sometimes God steps in to protect us from people we think we need, but who are only holding us back, using us to fill their own emptiness. These people, they saw you as a source of energy, someone they could drain, someone who would always give while they took. They wanted you for what you could do for them, not for who you are. They were never there for you, not really. They were only there as long as they were benefiting, as long as they were getting what they wanted. And God saw it all. He watched as you poured yourself out, bending over backward to please them, to be the rock they leaned on, the hand they held when they felt weak. He saw how they took that strength and never once considered what you needed, how you felt, or how much it cost you. And He knew it couldn't go on, so He stepped in. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't painless. Losing someone you cared about, someone you thought would be there for you, is a wound that cuts deep. But sometimes God allows the hurt to heal. He lets them walk away so that you can finally see them for what they were. A lesson, a stepping stone, but never your destination. And as painful as it might be, that's the truth you need. The pain of their absence is nothing compared to the peace you'll feel when you finally realize the weight that's been lifted. These people, they were never meant to go with you to the next level. They couldn't handle the journey, and honestly, they didn't care enough to try. They were there for the good times, for the perks, for the things you brought to the table. But when the road got rough, when you needed a hand, they were nowhere to be found. And yet, God saw how loyal you were, how committed you were, how you kept giving, even to the point of exhaustion. So He made the call you couldn't bring yourself to make. Don't let their absence make you question your worth. They left because they never valued it in the first place. And that's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. You gave them everything you had, you gave them more than they ever deserved, and in return they gave you excuses, empty promises, and a one-sided relationship. They kept taking, assuming you'd always be there, always willing to pick up the pieces. But God decided it was time for that to end. He pulled them out of your life because He knew they were a weight you didn't need, a burden that was only slowing you down. The truth is, some people are only meant to be chapters in your story, not the whole book. They were a lesson, a test of your strength, of your resilience, of your capacity to love even when it's not returned. And you passed that test. You showed patience, loyalty, compassion, qualities that are rare in this world. But just because they couldn't see it doesn't mean it was wasted. Those traits, that heart of yours, it's meant for something greater, something real, something that actually deserves you. So now you're free. Free to pursue the things that matter, the goals that have been waiting for you, the dreams that you put on hold while you were busy being everything for someone who didn't deserve it. And that's a gift, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. The space they left behind, that's where your future is going to grow. That's where you'll finally have room to become everything you were meant to be, without someone there, draining you, pulling you back. When you look back, you'll see it clearly. You'll understand why they had to go, why it happened the way it did, and why it happened when it did. God's timing isn't always easy to understand, but it's always perfect. He knew you were holding on to something toxic, something that was never meant to be yours forever. And He knew that unless He stepped in, you'd keep sacrificing yourself, keep giving to people who only saw you as a means to an end. Let them go. Don't chase what God has already removed. You've got too much potential, too much strength, too much value to waste it on people who don't see it. God didn't create you to be someone's backup plan, someone's emotional ATM, someone's convenience. He created you for a purpose, for a life that's meant to be lived fully, joyfully, freely. And now that they're gone, that's exactly what you have. The freedom to live for yourself, to pursue what's real, what's genuine, what's worthy of your time and effort. They thought you'd always be there, didn't they? They thought you'd stick around, keep putting up with the lies, the manipulation, the one-sided loyalty. But they underestimated you. Underestimated what God has planned for you. Because He's got something so much bigger. Something that won't drain you, but will actually fulfill you. And when they realize it, when they see you thriving, see you moving forward without them, that's when they'll understand what they lost. They'll look back and see that they let go of someone who was rare, someone who was genuine, someone who would have been there through anything. And that realization, it's gonna hit them hard. But by then, you'll be too far gone, too far ahead, living a life that they'll never get to be a part of. So remember this, God removed them for a reason. He saw what you couldn't see. He knew they were using you, taking advantage of your goodness, your loyalty, your heart, and He knew you deserved better. So let them go. Let the past be the past, and move forward with the knowledge that you're on the right path. A path they were never meant to walk with you. Trust that there's something better, something real waiting for you. God doesn't take without giving back something greater, something that will make every hurt, every disappointment, every betrayal worth it. So don't look back. Let them feel the absence. Let them realize what they threw away. Because you're moving on to something they'll never have access to. And that's the true victory.